today on the mix, we are going to be meal prepping for 4 days. This is going to be a cauliflower rice bowl with chicken, butternut squash, and red onion. And then we're gonna kind of mix up our toppings and our dressing so that not every single day it tastes the exact same. So, are you excited?
I'm so excited about squash, actually.
I love squash.
So squash reminds me of VeggieTales.
Yeah.
I think this guy talks.
He does.
Hey, Larry. So butternut squash is actually a variety of winter squash. Now in Chinese culture, we actually eat winter squash and actually make juices out of it. So actually they add sugar to it. It's actually like a beverage.
In the winter?
Not necessarily,
Okay.
but it's a very sweet, it's kind of like sweet tea in the South.
Okay.
That's like, we make that. So I grew up on that stuff.
All right.
But butternut squash is actually really nutritious. It actually has 21 grams of complex carbohydrate with 6 grams of that coming from fiber. So it's a good source of fiber. It also has quite a bit of vitamin A and vitamin C, as well as loaded with about half a gram of potassium per cup of cooked squash. So that's gonna help you with lowering your blood pressure. It's great for digestion because of all the fiber content. It's also great for skin and hair. So it has a lot of benefit and can form the basis of a lot of savory dishes.
I agree. And I think what's so good about squash, especially for those in the beginning of the gut repair program and our SIBO program, when we are eliminating those grains, the squash is going to be such a good starchy carbohydrate replacement.
Right.
Yep. And I know too, those for some clients in the middle or the beginning of the gut repair, they're like, well, what am I going to do if I can't have bananas? Where do I get my potassium? Which I think is kind of a misconception that bananas are the only place that potassium comes from. So
it's not like banana has a monopoly on potassium.
No,
There's certainly other foods that has a lot of potassium.
Exactly.
Squash is one of them.
Squash is one of them. So to get started for this dish, we are going to roast our butternut squash along with thin slices of our onion. So if you have never roasted a butternut squash before, the way that I do it, which I'm sure there's other ways, we are going to skin this, peel this like we would do a potato, cut it in half, gut the seeds out, and then cube it. And then for our onions, we're just gonna thinly slice them as if you were gonna be putting them on a burger, coat them up in coconut oil, and put some salt on them. We're gonna get them in our oven for about 40 minutes at 375. All right, so our vegetables are done roasting. It did take about 40 minutes. These little purple onions are my favorite. They're kind of like the healthy onion ring because they're roasted and they still have that flavor, but there's none of that junky breading on it.
A little bit crunchy, is that what you're trying to say?
A little bit crunchy, yep. So we are gonna mix and match style, buffet style this. We do have our cauliflower rice and our chicken that we did in the crock pot overnight. And then we do have a couple of our Hillary salad dressings, some oil and vinegar, some avocado. All right, and there you have it. It took us 5 minutes once again to assemble. We have 4 lunches. We did 3 different sauces. I did one without the sauce because sometimes I just like that avocado to take over that flavor. But you can also season these in many different ways too if you wanted to add fresh cilantro or do some dried oregano or something to one of them. So lots of different options. Mix and match it all and you'll be good to go.